Want those whispers and screams to be up close and personal? Here are the most exciting new and upcoming horror games to grab your headset for in 2021. Here at Logitech G, we always think you'll benefit from donning a headset for your games. You don't want to miss anything. But when it comes to horror games, every single sound is vital. Are you being followed? Can you hear that strange breathing? Should you go down that corridor? With that in mind, or in ears, we've curated a list of new and upcoming horror games you don't want your headset to miss out on. And before we go on, it'll probably be safer if you just subscribe to the channel now. Now that's out of the way, here are 10 of the most exciting new horror games for 2021. If 6's original side-scrolling creepy adventures didn't send you scurrying under the bed never to return, Little Nightmares 2 looks like it's well and truly up to the task. This time, the box-headed Mono is trapped in the frankly horrible world of Little Nightmares, with the original yellow coat-wearing 6 as his guide. While it looks like this is a co-op adventure, it's very much not. This is a lone, creepy horror experience where your fellow character is part of the game, not a controllable one. And while 6 is hopefully friendly, the rest of the world really isn't. Staying true to the title, it's packed with nightmarish imagery and creatures who really just want to grab you and make you into lunch. Not that cardboard boxes look particularly appetizing. Sorry, Mono. The original Monstrum was a lonely battle against a randomized but terrifying monster on a ship. Well, battle in the way that you'd really rather it didn't find you while you endlessly try to escape by finding the necessary objects in the procedurally generated depths of the ship. Monstrum 2, though, brings the same sense of panic and lets you share it. Not only that, but one of you actually gets to play as the monster hunting down the wannabe escapees. Released on Steam in early access, Monstrum 2 is another randomized nightmare in the style of Dead by Daylight, where you play a murderous game of hide-and-seek with your friends. Did you hear? Oh, never mind. Too late. When something has been lovingly hand-penciled, you think of children's books, or those nice wholesome Instagram cartoons with nice messages about life. You don't think about Mundaun, a folktale-inspired horror game packed with nightmarish imagery and a demonic presence haunting the inhabitants of a small town in the Swiss Alps. This is the first-person journey of a young man uncovering the truth behind the mysterious death of his grandfather, and while it's been painstakingly recreated from real-world locations in Switzerland, believe us when we say we hope it's not too close to reality. This looks like a truly unique survival horror experience from a tiny team, and we're already afraid. No, the next minute or so is not going to be an ode to a 9-foot vampire, but just know that we want it to be.
Well, Ethan Winters, you escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you? Let's see how special you are.
Resident Evil Village is one of the few horror games on this list with an actual release date, and that's a serious relief. This follow-up to Resident Evil 7 continues the story of Ethan and Mia, who now live in the Eastern European countryside, where even more nasties lurk. The Capcom dev team has said vampires now fit happily into the Biohazard universe, and they have even taken some inspiration from Resident Evil 4's inventory system. So now we're looking forward to playing Tetris with herbs and maybe garlic in this folk horror influenced scarefest.
Let's see what you're really made of, Ethan Winters.
Let's face it, if Turtle Rock Studios had anything to do with it, this list would probably be called Horror Games for Headsets 2021. We'd forgive them though, because they're the dev team responsible for a little series you might have heard of called Left 4 Dead, and now the ones spinning a fresh, if gory, co-op shooter into the mix.
Follow my lead if you can keep up.
Just try not to do anything stupid.
Back 4 Blood looks like everything we want it to be. Chunky gameplay? Check. Smart talking team members?
Let's do this.
Can we at least get something to eat first?
That's a yes. Hordes of awful infected just running into the path of your bullets while you desperately try to reach a safe room? Well, yes, that's in there too. This looks like a very welcome return of all the things we loved so much from Left 4 Dead, but with some fresh twists and even bigger and better monstrosities that Turtle Rock has clearly used its time on Evolve to get just right. Or, well, wrong. So wrong.
Please just die already!
Evangela, watch out!
Dying Light 2 was meant to grace our monitors last year, but was delayed to an as-yet unconfirmed date in 2021. Given what we saw all the way back at E3 2019 though, Techland's undead follow-up was shaping up nicely. With the same free running and freedom as the original, Dying Light 2 is set in what the devs are calling the modern Dark Ages, as humanity builds castle-style settlements to defend against the infected and survive without the help of technology. The sequel also adds a level of choice to proceedings, meaning you can change your game world for the better or worse.
Just keep him alive.
Stay in contact. Now run! Damn it! Run!
Hold on, Frank.
And you can play in co-op, so if you've made different decisions from your friends, your apocalypse could have a very different landscape from everyone else's. Ah, variation, the spice of zombie life. When it comes to night vision lit scares, nothing compares to the 2 Outlast games. If you survived these 2 games and all of their DLCs, you've probably got the kind of eyes that means you've seen some things in the dark.
Who's...
Well, the good news is that in 2021 we'll be getting some new eyes physically attached to our faces, and like the terror of Monstrum 2 earlier, the chance to share the experience with friends. The Outlast Trials is set in the Cold War era at the horrific Murkoff Corporation, where mind control and brainwashing techniques are being tested. It's here where we'll be able to team up with up to 3 friends and try to survive the distrust, fear, violence, and sadism. Maybe just pencil in the rest of the year for fear. Resident Evil Reverse was developed specifically to celebrate 25 years of the series, and it's, well, very different from the survival horror offered by Village. This is an ultra-chaotic online deathmatch for 4 to 6 players where each bout only lasts for 5 minutes, giving you a burst of biohazardous material before doing it all over again. Reverse lets you pit series legends against one another and even allows someone to spawn in as a bioweapon when they die, so it's not exactly taking itself tremendously seriously. The good news though is that it's free for everyone who buys the Village, so it might be a nice mental palate cleanser before you go back to the true horror.
Yes, of course, I understand the importance of the ceremony. I won't let you down.
We've already included Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife in our best VR games to watch out for in 2021, but this ghostly journey will sound far too good in your headset to leave off this list. As might be apparent from the title, you're no mere human as you explore the not exactly welcoming Barclay Mansion. You are a Wraith who was once a man called Ed Miller. Now he walks the afterlife, questing to find out what happened to his wife, and we must help him to avoid the nastiest spirits who also happen to be hanging around the mansion. Based on the World of Darkness universe, this looks like a fascinating and terrifying place for us to tumble into eyes first. Just remember, you can always take one headphone off if you want to come back to reality. We won't judge. It's time to escape pixels and enter the world of the FMV. I Saw Black Clouds is a supernatural psychological interactive thriller from Made of Scare Studios Wales Interactive.
I saw a ghost. Do you believe in ghosts? I never used to.
We'll be following Christina as she travels back to her hometown after the unexpected passing of a close friend, and, of course, we can't just sit back and watch the action unfold. We'll have to constantly make choices that affect the way the story plays out, and change Christina's relationships with other characters. We'll even see a real-time personality trait tracker to see how we're playing. Between that and the horror at work, no pressure.
I want you to go to your deeper place.
So that's the horrors you should be priming your headset for in 2021. Which scares are you most looking forward to? Let us know in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoy the terror, and hit that subscribe button for all things Logitech G. And if you haven't already, ring that notification bell to make sure you always know when our next video lands. We promise it doesn't summon spirits.